What up, YouTube? It's Frisky Dingo getting back with you guys with another reaction/review video. Today we're getting into one of my favorites, Kyrie Irving returning to the NBA/Djokovic getting denied to the Australian Open. So always remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on this video because we are on a grind. That being said, man, honestly, I'm not really mad at Kyrie for coming back to the NBA. I mean, honestly, it makes a lot of sense. He's a basketball player. He should be allowed to play to a certain extent within whatever parameters he can find legally. So I think it's pretty cool that the NBA is giving him a chance to come back, basically play a couple games, and then move and see how it goes from there. Now, I know with the mandate, it's going to be put in place for like about a year. So this is pretty much going to be an ongoing thing. So I'm just really happy that Kyrie is able to find a middle ground and basically get into a position where he could play basketball, because we all love to watch Kyrie play basketball, and I'm pretty sure that's what we want to see. But on the other hand, we have the Djokovic situation, which everybody in tennis scene is upset about, because one of basically the number one tennis player in the world, Djokovic, basically ended up going to the Australian Open and basically being denied, but at the same time saying that he was exempt from taking the vaccine. Now, in the tennis scene, he's always had a very political stance on the vaccine itself. He's one of the first tennis players to come out and oppose to it. How he's been able to get on around the scene since 2020, no one really knows. We just know that he's had an exemption for a period of time, but at this point, he's no longer going to get that exemption. So we're basically going to see what ends up happening with him. Now, unfortunately, that sucks because, you know, everyone knows he's right around the 1-2, I believe, 2 record of beating Federer. So realistically, I believe he has like 2 to 3 more wins, and then he beats Federer's record, if not 1 more, 2 more. So at this point, I know a lot of people that are Djokovic fans are excited to see it. I'm a little bit of a Djokovic fan myself. I just don't really like his, not attitude, but the way he talks down to other players, but then pretends like he don't be doing the same exact things. It's pretty hilarious to me. But also, I grew up with Federer and Nadal. Now that Federer is kind of gone, Djokovic is basically forced upon me, you know, because he was coming at a moment where both of the best tennis players were declining, and you know, so that's basically it for me. I didn't really grow up with him in the amateur scene and things like that. So that being said, you know, I pretty much just know him up to date from all the U.S. Opens, Australian Opens, French Opens that he's played, and I believe he's played at India Wells too here in America. So yeah. That being said, I can't wait to see what ends up happening in this situation, because most of Australia's response was pretty much, we don't want this guy here. He shouldn't be allowed an exemption just because he's a celebrity, and all these other things. So, and you know, pretty much the border control said the same exact thing. You know, he didn't have the vaccine. He didn't have the card. So, you know, what are you supposed to really do in that situation? If you didn't take the vaccine and you don't have your vaccine card, they have their right to deny you on whatever basis. So that's pretty much how it's going to go from here. I think that's pretty cool, that, you know, that we're going to get a response from Djokovic and see how he moves forward, because it's always a good character build. I feel like one of the most important things with Djokovic we never get to see is character build moments. And in this one, we're really going to get a character build moment, so I'm really excited for that one. And even with the Kyrie situation, as everyone can see, Kyrie loves basketball. He loves playing. I don't think it's a reason why he should basically be denied to play basketball. But I do believe that he should follow the set and standard rules of the state that in which he's playing in. And that being said, he is part of a New York team. New York has guidelines. I feel as though that with the vaccine, it is a public responsibility. It's no different than wearing a mask. I worked in Japan for a whole year, so I experienced the mask culture firsthand before the pandemic even came. And this was in, I believe, 2013 going into 2014. And when I experienced over there was that, basically it's a public service. It's something that you're supposed to do for your common people. You don't want other people to get sick. You don't want to be a burden on other people, right? That'll be messed up if, because you're sick, someone else has to get sick and you don't know what their predicament is. Let's say they're not in the same income bracket as you. 2-3 days off of being sick is that hurts somebody that doesn't come from the same background as you. So it's always looked at as a social responsibility, and I think that at this point, with the whole situation with the mask and me experienced that out there, basically helped me understand the contention of wearing a mask. But not to say that there aren't Japanese people who are over there that oppose the mask. I do believe it's a small minority. Of course, they have their crazy conservatives. That's always been the debate, but morally, the consciousness of Japan's sense, even in China, even in Taiwan, is that to wear a mask if you're sick, or not to get other people sick and whatnot. So we'll see what ends up happening. Like I said, love Djokovic. Love his thing that he has going on in tennis right now. He's what we need. We don't really have Nadal's kind of pretty much on the decline. He's only really good on the French courts now. So Djokovic is pretty much what we have for men's tennis. We still got Thiem. We still have there's a few other guys that just recently placed at the U.S. Open too. So I can't really put my name on them, but tennis is moving forward with the young generation. But what I mean is a top elite. We don't have that many top elites left. Those people who can play the 10-15 year mark. That Serena Williams, that Federer, Nadal. Classics like Bjork and Agassi and so on and so forth. If you could keep on going, Pete Sampras was my favorite. So and you saw how long Pete Sampras played, and he was a pretty young guy. So yeah, so overall, we don't have that excel at the high level no more. So Djokovic is pretty much what we have left, and he's even starting to decline himself, and I think that's one of the most unfortunate things. Obviously, he's of age, so he's gonna decline, and that's what ends up happening with tennis players. They get to a certain point, and their game starts to lose. If you look at Serena, her game is completely different, especially after having a baby. So that's what we're going to end up getting. And now you see the young girls, but the younger girls, even though they're getting into the limelight, like Naomi Osaka, they're not at the pinnacle yet. They're not at the elite level yet. They're they could win their one or two what's her name, Stefan Salone. They could win their one or two opens, but they're not ready to be at that 15-year grind mark, and we've seen a lot of tennis players do that. So yeah, so if Djokovic ends up saying anything new, we get any more information, I'll definitely update you guys on some new information, but also with Kyrie too, because we all love Kyrie, even though he's a flat earther and, COVID conspiracy believer, we still got to show support for our human beings, because, we can't just leave these people out in the open just because they believe a certain thing. I get it 100%, I'm vaccinated. And I understand what it means to, quarantine and basically keep myself at home and not really interact. I've been doing that for 2 years now, like very limiting my outside actions, but still working out, working out. I have, just bought a treadmill, have a heavy bag. I do running every single day if it's not for about 2 to 3 miles. And then I do calisthenics for about an hour and 30 minutes. And then I hit a heavy bag. And that's helped me keep in shape during COVID, but that's exactly what I mean. Like, it's really up to the individual on how they're going to handle it, how they're going to approach it, what kind of information they're going to read and take and, absorb for this type of situation. For me, I've always been a scholarly type, so I like to read a lot. I like to, get bits and pieces of information from different sources and basically create my own opinion based on what I'm reading. And from everything I understand in my experience growing up, the vaccine is nothing wrong with it. It's no different than taking the other vaccines that we took as kids that allowed us to, be in kindergarten. It's no different than the vaccine I had to take in college. It was no different than vaccines I had to take when I went to Japan, so on and so forth. So that's basically it. That's how I feel about it. And I hope that Djokovic can, not let this vaccine stop his career, because it makes no sense. One little vaccine and bro, you're in the US Open, and it's not like basketball, right? When there's lockouts or there's these like the vaccine bubble, winners of those tournaments are treated as if it's basically asterisks, but that's not the case with tennis. If you win, you win. So hopefully we could get Djokovic back. So, love the guy, and, can't wait to find out more news about him. But if we get any more news about Kyrie, Djokovic, or anything else, I'll definitely see you guys in the next one.